Fridays are the best, aren't they? But welcome to the DeeKay YouTube channel, and today we are back with r/NoSleep. We're getting more and more towards that spooky Halloween season. I've even got my seasonal childish hoodie to match. TGS sent me this for free, no worries. They absolutely didn't. They paid 80 quid for this. But if you're interested in this style of content, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as that helps me out so much in YouTube's algorithm. And if you want to suggest a subreddit out there, then comment below and I'll suggest reading it in the next video. Right, let's get straight into this. My basement just collapsed into an old mine shaft. Please help. Not something you want on a Saturday morning. Last year, my husband and I bought a house. It was pretty cheap, on account of it being pretty small and off the beaten track. We thought we got on a good deal, until the basement caved in. Absolutely classic horror story. People buying a cheap house thinking it's great, and then you find out you've got Freddy Krueger living in the basement. It happened in the middle of the night. I woke up at 3:30 AM to a loud crash that caused the windows to rattle. Terrified that someone had broken in, my husband Roger and I grabbed our mace and combed the entire house. Who just has a mace in anyway? It was Roger who found it first. Diane! I found him standing at the top of the stairs, looking pale. He pointed down to where our basement floor was simply gone. What the fuck? I whispered. Both of us were too scared to go down the stairs, but upon closer inspection, we noticed there was really only half the floor missing. The area behind and around the stairs seemed intact, while beyond the stairs was a huge hole that seemed to go down at least 10 feet. We couldn't see the bottom from the dim light the basement bulbs cast. The next few hours after that were devoted to frantically calling our home insurance and having the police/fire department come. They told us this had actually happened a few times in our area. Apparently, a lot of smaller mines here went unregistered during copper mining in the 1600s. People just built homes over them without even knowing. Congratulations, society. While I'm thankful for their help, the firemen and police officers were honestly a little rude. They immediately cordoned off the basement and wouldn't let us go anywhere near it. It's really dangerous, they said, but that didn't stop them from going into the basement. They were down there for hours. Insurance would most likely cover the repairs, but the house would be unsafe to live in until it was fixed. Thankfully, our elderly neighbour Gertrude offered for us to stay with her. I could use some help around here anyway, she said with a smile. It was almost midnight when we got into the bed, exhausted from a day of moving and calling contractors. But just as I pulled the covers over me, I realised, shit, I forgot my rings. I don't sleep with my engagement or wedding ring on, and in the chaos of everything, I forgot to bring them over. Rings? My engagement and wedding ring, they're still on the nightstand. You can get them tomorrow, Roger grumbled. What if the house collapses before then? It won't. I'll just go over there quickly and get them. Now? I nodded. Then I got out of bed, pulled on my jeans, and started downstairs. The house was quiet. Gertrude had already gone to sleep. I snuck out as quietly as I could, then raced across our lawn and into ours. Ran up the porch steps, pushed the key into the lock, and swung the door open. The house was completely silent. Still, dark. It was weird seeing everything so empty. I mean, I'd arrived to an empty house before, but not in the middle of the night like this. I flicked on the light and went upstairs. I walked into the bedroom, grabbed the rings off the nightstand, and turned around. Started for the stairs. I froze. Is someone in the house? I glanced around, clutching the rings to my chest. Then my eyes locked on the front door. I'll run down the stairs and out the door. They won't get me. They won't. I whipped around. It was the bedroom door. I was just in there. No one's in there. I frowned, watching as it pushed open another inch, and then stopped. There was a draft coming in from somewhere. I went downstairs and looked around, and immediately noticed a problem. The basement door was open. One of the firemen must have left it open. I walked towards it, slowly. Even though I knew it was just a simple mistake, my heart was hammering in my chest. I grabbed the edge of the door and started to push it closed. Drip. The sound was soft, like a tiny drop of water falling from our basement and hitting the floor of the mine below. Unable to stop myself, I turned to look down. The stairs descended into the darkness. I could barely make out the concrete floor, and the jagged edge where it gave way to the mine. My hand tightened on the doorknob. I wonder how far down it goes. In all the commotion from earlier, we didn't get much time to really inspect the damage. The fireman kept us far away from the basement opening, telling us how dangerous it was, how I only took one wrong step. I rummaged in my pocket and found a bobby pin. I held my breath, threw it in. 1,000th, 2,000th, 3 seconds passed before I heard the light tink of it hitting rock. My physics is rusty, but I don't think that mine is only 12 feet deep, like the officer told us. My heart pounded faster. I pulled out my phone and turned on the flashlight. The light didn't reach the bottom, just some wet, glistening rock near the top of the hole. I could see one of our I could see one of our plastic storage bins spilling out childhood drawings and stuffed animals into the hole. The breeze blew up from the basement, softly fluttering through my hair. "Echo," I called down. My blood ran cold. I dropped the rings, clink clink clink, as they bounced down the stairs. They settled at the bottom of the stairs. For a moment, I hesitated. Then I grabbed the door and slammed it shut. Because, I swear, mixed in with the overlapping echoes of my own voice, there was a second voice. Something that I could tell on a primal level did not belong to me. I ran out the house and back to Gertrude's, locked the door and snuggled in bed. Roger is already asleep, and I don't want to tell him about it anyway. He'll just think I'm crazy. He doesn't believe in any kind of paranormal stuff, and there's no way there's just some random person hiding down in our sinkhole. Right? I'm in bed now, hopefully, safe at Gertrude's. But what should I do? Should I go back to the house now? Or maybe in the morning? Not that the light helps. The basement doesn't have any windows. It will still be as dark as ever. I mean, the safest and smartest thing to do would be not to go back at all. But I can't just leave my engagement ring and wedding ring there. They're right at the bottom of the steps. It would be easy just to go down and grab them without even getting too close to the mine at all. What should I do? Honestly, I know this is a horror story, but this just makes me think of some Uncharted type shit going on here. Nathan Drake would be all over that. Oh shit. I'm scared if you go get them, something will grab you, but I know the feeling of panicking when something precious is not near you. Don't go back there alone. At least tie a rope around your waist. Do not go down there. It's dangerous regardless of whether or not anything supernatural is going on. I understand the sentimental value that rings hold, but at the end of the day, they were just things. Your marriage will exist without your rings. It will not if you're dead. Think of it like a sinkhole. Your steps could collapse. What if someone slips because of damp? So many things could go wrong. Also, don't just carry rings around. Either put them on for transport or put them in a Ziploc bag and then a Ziploc closed pocket. As soon as you wrote about carrying them, I cringed. So we're all reading the story thinking it's terrifying, and this guy's going, ha, cringe. But I mean, regardless of all the comments, that story, I won't lie, is kind of terrifying. The fact that one day, you have a basement there, and then the other minute, it's just become a hole in the ground. But regardless, good story. Whatever is living inside my mum's creepy statue, I don't think it's the Virgin Mary. Has anyone heard of Red Maria? I haven't, but I'm sure we're about to find out. You've probably seen them everywhere. Those cheap ceramic statues of the Virgin Mary. A common fixture of gardens, grottos, and grandmothers' houses. Or if you're Irish, it's basically in every home you walk into. In the ordinary version, the safe version, Mary's skin is peach coloured, her hair is brown or black, face is plain and unadorned, and her robes are blue. There are of course other versions, like the Red Maria. A Red Maria skin is white as snow, but its hair, robes and lips are crimson. I saw one for the first time when I was 8 years old. It had been set up in the alcove at the end of the narrow hallway that led to our 3 closet-sized bedrooms. One for my mother, one for my sisters, Veronica and Esmeralda, and one for me. My mother told me that the Red Maria was there to protect us, but that pale statue didn't make me feel safe. It made me feel watched. Its black painted eyes seemed to follow me, and the nightlight my mother placed beneath the Red Maria only made it worse. From below, the statue cast eerie shadows on the wall behind. When I crept out of my room to pour water down my parched throat or use the toilet, I tried not to look at it, but my eyes were always dragged, almost unwillingly, to the alcove at the end of the hall. I was terrified of what I might see, because the Red Maria looks different that night. My sisters said it was just a trick of the light. They said I was acting like a little baby, but they didn't see what I saw. Their room was close to the bathroom, at the end of the hall. They didn't see the way the Red Maria's jaw seemed to distend, transforming her mouth into a screaming black pit. They didn't see the twisted shadow that rose above the innocuous ceramic statue at the end of the hall. Peering around the corner of my bedroom door, I couldn't help but wonder, what if those freakishly long fingers were caused by more than just a nightlight's glow? What if I looked down the hallway one night and found the alcove was empty? Would I then turn around and see the real Red Maria, a monstrous robed woman, far too tall for my tiny bedroom, glaring down at me with a garish crimson smile? My mother reassured me that these were only childish fears. At my age, she explained, it was normal to be afraid of statues, puppets, and other denizens of the uncanny valley. It was only a statue. It couldn't hurt me. I did my best to believe her, until the Red Maria started moving around after dark. Some nights I'd wake up to a hard sliding sound like a ceramic robe scraping across the hallway tiles. Whenever I work up the courage to peer into the corridor, the Red Maria would be gone. Once I found it in the bathroom besides the dripping faucet. Another morning, I nearly fell over backwards when it appeared inside my laundry bin. A few weeks before my 9th birthday, I woke up with the undeniable sense that there was a presence in my room. I could feel it. Like a hunted animal, I moved slowly my head from side to side, checking my surroundings. There was my disorganized desk, the half-open closet, the lightless television. I gingerly lowered my bare feet onto the tile and felt cold ceramic fingers graze my own. I shrieked loud enough to wake up half the building. My mother burst into the room and bashed on the lights, revealing my 2 sisters giggling like mad beneath my bed. The Red Maria stood lifelessly where they placed it, right beside my hand. My mother made the 3 of us carry the Red Maria back to her old clothes together. I remember feeling certain that it weighed much more than it should have. The next morning, my younger sister Esmeralda woke up with a fever and the games with the Red Maria came to a screeching halt. We went to doctor after doctor, but the specialists were at a loss to discover why my younger sister was sleeping so much or why she became so weak. Esmeralda's bedroom took on the sweet, rotten odour of a sick room, and my older sister Veronica moved in with me. The more traditional medicine failed to help my younger sister, the more my mother turned to her faith for answers. Suddenly, the Red Maria was more important than ever. As the weeks of Esmeralda's illness dragged into months, the old clove at the end of the hall became more like a shrine, overhung with rosaries, perfumed with incense, and clustered with ruby-coloured carnations. I still felt like there was something off about the Red Maria, like it was something more or less than a humble representation of the Mother of God, but above all else, I felt guilty. If only I hadn't been so afraid of that stupid statue. Maybe my little sister wouldn't have stayed up late trying to tease me with it. Maybe if she'd gotten more sleep, she never would have gotten sick. I was only 9 years old, but I understood cause and effect, and I couldn't shake the feeling that somehow it was my fault. I knew now there were far more frightening things in the world than a loveless ceramic statue. Things like inexplicable diseases, hospital debt collectors, or the pink slip that my mother received from her job as a janitor that September. I took over most of the cooking and cleaning, and Veronica dropped out of school to work illegally in a restaurant. Esmeralda only woke up to eat a tiny amount of food, use the restroom, and then return to bed. After months of inconclusive testing, my mother no longer believed that anything but faith could save her daughter. So much happened to the rest of our family that fall that I didn't dare tell anyone what was happening to me. Faced with my mother's unemployment, Veronica's extortion, or Esmeralda's illness, what right did I have to complain about a few nightmares? If they were nightmares. Every night, a shadow would pass in front of my bedroom. It hovered for a moment in front of my door, blocking the nightlight's feeble glow, then drifted by as soundlessly as smoke. In those moments, I clenched my sheets until my knuckles went white, praying that Veronica would wake up so I didn't have to face the horror alone, but she never did. Instead, I'd hear the groan of Esmeralda's bed springs, like something heavy had just slithered onto her mattress. Whatever it was responsible for my sister's illness. I was sure of it, just as I was sure that no adult would ever believe my story about evil statues and moving shadows. Laying in bed with only a thin wooden door between the shadow and me, I forced myself to wiggle one toe, then another, then my whole foot. Once I had overcome my fear to place my feet on the floor and stand up, I knew that I could face whatever waited in the hallway. I clutched a flashlight in one hand, a rosary and a child-sized pocket knife in the other. The shadow can move quickly, but so could I. I stuck my head into the hallway just in time to witness a formless black shape squeeze into Esmeralda's room. The realization that the impossible thing I was seeing was actually real washed over me like icy water. Maybe what my mother had said was true. The statue couldn't hurt me, but maybe the thing that dwelt inside of it could. The thought of my little sister's dimpled face giggling under my bed, it had been the last time I'd seen her smile. I sucked a lungful of air down my dry throat and threw open Esmeralda's door. When the beam of flashlight cut through the inky blackness of my little sister's bedroom, I caught just a glimpse of it, the Red Maria from my nightmares. Its jaw opened snake-wide as it sucked something smoke-like out of Esmeralda's mouth. The moment the light hit it, it twisted its face into a grotesque expression of hatred and vanished. A shriek pierced the silence. The scream was Esmeralda's, and it felt like it would never stop. Even cradled in my mother's arms, my little sister kept screeching until only a wheeze moaned up from her raw lungs. She collapsed back into sleep, pale and exhausted. My mother hit me for the first time that night, so hard that the flashlight flew out of my hand. Didn't I understand the condition my sister was in? How could I even think of risking her health with some absurd nighttime game? When my mother finally stopped shaking me, I was seeing stars. She hugged me, cried, then dragged herself back to bed without a word. She had a job interview in the morning. As I collected the broken flashlight's batteries and tiptoed out of my sister's room, I would have sworn that the Red Maria smile was wider and more crimson than usual. I had to find another way. The extra chores I received as punishment for disturbing Esmeralda's rest provided the perfect excuse. I just knocked that hateful statue over with the broom. I could say it was an accident, and whatever extra punishment I got for that, well, it would be worth it. The Red Maria, however, didn't break. It didn't even crack. Not even when I smashed my aluminum baseball bat onto its delicate features, again and again. Instead of shattering ceramic, I heard a whisper of laughter. When I blinked, I saw a horrific vision of what would happen to me that night, when the Red Maria enjoyed its sweet, slow revenge. I walked back downstairs into the living room. I felt hollow, unsure of what to do with myself. I'd never seen death up close, or even thought about it, and certainly nothing so visceral as the gory images that had just flashed through my mind. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to close my eyes and wake up somewhere as dark and empty as the inside of a ceramic statue. Yet, if I didn't somehow free my family from the Red Maria before nightfall, I had no doubt that I'd be dead before dawn. I could already imagine it. 9-year-old me, huddled in the television blue glow with my flickering flashlight, watching a blacker than black figure trickle into the room. Whatever it did to me would look like an accident. I was sure of it, and the thing inside the Red Maria would continue to drain Esmeralda. I had to act fast. Veronica would be home from work in a few hours, and my mother could return from her job search at any time. I bundled the Red Maria into a heavy trash bag. Its angry whispers resounded in my ears. At any moment I expected trendles of shadow to creep out from the thin plastic and slither down my throat. I did my best to keep the covered statue beneath the bright light while I rummaged in my closet. Beneath mothballs, stuffed animals, and a cardboard box of football memorabilia, I finally found what I was looking for. The red wagon that Veronica had pulled me around when I was a toddler. Armed with a hand-drawn freeze sign, I wheeled the Red Maria to the trashiest street corner I knew. Anything from a bed-bug-ridden mattress to an armless office chair would disappear if left there overnight. And I had a sneaking suspicion that is where my mother did a lot of our holiday shopping. The broken lamp and abandoned Barbie Jeep already waiting on the corner cast long, eerie shadows in the late afternoon sun. I unbagged the Red Maria, bound the sign around its neck, and hoped for the best. Walking home, I couldn't help but feel sure that the Red Maria would be waiting for me, a smile on its crimson light. Instead, I found that my mother and both my sisters were gone. My mother's heels were by the door, Veronica's work hat and keys lay on the table, and Esmeralda's sickbed was empty. Panic rose in my chest. Had the Red Maria taken my family? The front door creaked open. My mother rushed into the house and hugged me close. Behind her, Esmeralda was swinging from Veronica's arms, asking if she could go back to school and see her friends yet. My little sister's mysterious illness had vanished as suddenly and strangely as it appeared. Everyone thought it was a miracle. Everyone but me. I was just as thrilled as my mother and sister about Esmeralda's recovery, until I thought more deeply about what might mean. The Red Maria was with another family now. Someone had picked it up from a junky corner. Someone in search of a decoration, a symbol of faith, or a cheap gift. My little sister was safe because the Red Maria had found another victim. Holy shit, that was very well written. Good story, OP. I'm glad you were able to save your sister. Thank you, me too. The Chad Maria versus the Virgin Mary. I think that comment alone perfectly wraps up today's episode of r/NoSleep. I didn't get to thank you guys last video because those videos were planned in advance, but thank you guys so much for the recent support. I come back from a trip I was on and I look at the channel and go, wow, holy shit, what happened? Suddenly all the views have gone up and my subscriber count just blew up out of nowhere. So thank you guys so much for your support. It means a shit ton to me. Considering this channel isn't that old, I really appreciate everyone who stopped by and just even glanced at a video. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone out there who made it to the end of this DeeKay YouTube video. I'll be uploading on this channel every single week, so if you don't want to miss a video, make sure to subscribe and turn the post notification on. And if you did make it this far, please make sure to leave a like and comment saying your favorite bit from this video, as that will help me out so much in YouTube's algorithm. Thanks to everybody for watching, and for a final note for this video, watch Arcane on Netflix.